Hi there, and welcome to my mix breakdown of my cover of Time Is Running Out by Muse. Let's dive in. I released through my rock project No One as a cover with just a lyric video, as well as here on this channel. I thought I would just show a little bit about how I made it. Here is the intro.
I think I'm drowning, asphyxiated.
And then I'll take us to the chorus. It sounds a little bit like that. Starting with the percussion section, there is the snaps and the claps, which happen. And essentially, this is just a combination of snaps, which are me, and basically were created and then bounced together. Here's some, I call these laps because they are me slapping my lap. Little lappy slappy. You know, so however you want to take that. I grouped them together. I've got all kinds of compressors and things going, just a simple chroma verb just to give it some room size. I actually ended up using more on this mix than I originally thought I wanted to. And then you can see here, there's some kind of like backbeat going on. So I just used, I think this is Above and Beyond, which is just a program drum thing in Logic. The drums are Steven Slate 5.
I think I'm drowning.
So I have this separated off. Sometimes when I'm using MIDI drums, I'll separate out each part if there's a specific sound that I want, and I'll essentially treat it like a finished sample. I'll even bounce it in place or whatever fits the project. For this project, because it was a cover, it's a song that I really like and I really enjoyed covering. I left them all merged, and in Steven Slate, there's a mixer. I tend to mix within there just for overall balance, and then I will group and do my layers of parallel compression and so on and so forth. So then here on the main drums, just some simple build-up drums, build-up toms, rather. My brain is a little bit mushy today. And then I have here a duplicate snare, just for some fatness.
You can't push it.
Okay, so you can hear that. Let me take the duplicate snare out. And then there's width.
I wanted freedom.
Okay, so that's pretty much the percussion section. I mean, I'm a lot more particular about playing. When I want it to have a more raw drum sound, I'll perform the parts. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel for rock stuff. And so, yeah, it was MIDI. So you can sue me. Normally, I'll duplicate bass and I'll mix the high and the low separately. For this, I kept it just one channel. It's a Logic, it's the Razor bass, I believe, or fuzz drive. You can see a distortion is pushed to the metal, got a little bit of compression, gain is all the way up, which is typically a no-no, but I liked how it sounded. And then particularly on parts like this, I'm a huge fan of really grindy bass, and then, you know, gating it with either a noise gate or I really like the way that sounds, the way it kind of dies out, and then when you blend it with guitars, I definitely am into that. So it's something like that. I was definitely going for something a little nastier, you know, not too chunky. Matt Bellamy really favors his fuzzy tones. I kind of like this approach. For leads on the verses and stuff, for lead guitar, I've got essentially some combinations of, these are like AC30 style amp simulators. Got a lead. And it just kind of paints a color. You know, it's not really anything special on its own, but when you blend it in with the mix, it gives it something. For the rhythm guitars, I have them essentially pre-chorus. They're all kind of the AC30 sort of model from Logic. I am getting into the world of neural DSP, but I'm not good enough with it yet to have done anything with it to share. So that'll hopefully be coming soon. Meat guitar is same thing, just more driven. And you'll see here how I've got a left, right, and then I've got a top, or some people call it center. I call it top. I like to stay on top of things. You'll notice how I have a top, and then I have a top oct, which is top octave, because I'm weird. Obviously, you can automate it to switch on, off and on, but I like doing it this way. My CPU doesn't necessarily like it, but I'll go from the top. I have the Doctor octave, just all Logic. Typically, you can tune that down. I chose to kind of keep it there. So that's Meat guitar. I don't think there's anything else going on. I have two, kind of like an orange knockoff amp and an AC30 style going for the bridge. You'll hear it goes from those. I just felt like those are just like whole first position chords essentially at that part. And I feel like they weren't really coming through all that clear on just the setup that I have for the chorus, the main parts, because it's definitely like a very active part of the song, but it needed some help. You'll notice I go from that directly to this. Vocals. This is as you can see, a very minimal vocal setup. Let's just isolate these. Here's the lead vocal.
I wanted freedom, bound and restricted. I tried to give you up, but I'm addicted.
I've gotten a little pickier with how I engineer vocals specifically for myself. I use the EL8X distressor from Empirical Labs, and I'm powering it with the WA73 EQ. Essentially, I go in through the WA73. I like to adjust the distressor in a way that it sort of, because I feel like I'm a pretty dynamic singer. While I definitely don't have the best voice in the world, I like to be able to confidently sing dynamically in terms of like full head voice, you know, to a little bit more wild stuff like what the distressor does, and not only for the texture of I think the WA73 and the distressor together, I like what they do for vocals, not only in texture, but just in terms of the knee compression. These are just doubles down here. So, you know, you can see it goes from the single voice.
You murdering, and our time is running out, and our time is running out.
So here's what those doubles sound like on their own.
And our time is running out, and our time is running out. You can't put.
So I did those on the choruses and then also on the bridge.
Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Pretty funny out of context, and in context too, depending on which style of rock you like to listen to. Essentially what I did is I just performed as close to possible in terms of delivery and rhythm and inflection, phonetics, all those things as the main vocal. That's pretty much the breakdown of the mix. I mean, there's some other things that I could show you, you know. These are the snaps and claps from over here. Nothing real fancy. The ending, you'll see we go from the top to the top octave. That's my own contribution to the arrangement, is that little wah there at the end. If you found this helpful or interesting, please leave a comment and let me know. If you have made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing and smashing the like button. That helps me out a lot. I plan on doing a lot more of these in the future, especially for newer music. I'm in the process of recording my second studio album, so lots of updates and stuff like that here on my channel. I'm Jake Nolan. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Please subscribe to my dad's channel.